Hello, everyone. It is I, Roman, and we're back to our Romanettes. This is WhenInRome, the podcast, and we are here with another episode. Tonight, I'm here with a podcast friend favorite, Jason.
Hello.
Thanks for always being here.
Yes.
We have a fun show coming up. Okay, so tonight we are dropping the first of two parts of our interview with Lindsay Slowhands. I can tell you honestly that when I first started this podcast, never did I think like kind of where it would take me in terms of all the interviews that I'd be able to do and the people. And it was really an honor having Lindsay Slowhands on the show with like over a decade of experience being like the it drag diva. Hearing her origin story was a true pleasure. You've heard of Lindsay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like she's what is it? Underground SF, and her party it's amazing, right?
Yeah.
So we talk about everything from how she decided on her name, what it was like doing drag 10 years ago. We talked to Tranny Shack and her healing journey after her devastating attack. So stay tuned after the music cap for the first part of that interview. It's fun. She goes deep. Not me, guys. Crazy. Maybe, you never know. Anyway, coming up next week will be the second part of the series with her interview with Lindsay Slowhands. So the first part, we're talking about origins, like a really big origin, how she got here, where she was from, her growing up, family life. And then in the second part, we talked about kind of like how her relationship with drag changed. Then we talk about like what happened with COVID. She had this like a devastating attack in her healing journey. So there's things in both parts. So stay tuned for that. And then in the coming weeks, I'll be dropping a panel on growing up religious. You know what I mean? Probably
that'll be juicy.
You know what I mean, huh?
That'll be juicy.
Yeah, that'll be juicy, right? Thank God my mom was not a religious girl. My mom eventually started going to church, but that's when I was 30. I was like, go with God. Because I don't know if I am. But I know I am blessed and booked and busy. Okay. So yeah, stay tuned after that for other coming weeks for that. So let's get into it, bitches. Everyone get out your mood enhancer. And if it's prayer, honey, let's get that particular prayer in 3 seconds, all right? Thank you. God can wait. On the count of 3, well, he's always with us. Whatever. 1, 2, she, they. 2, 3, he, they. Sorry, I don't know. God, does God have a pronoun? You think about that as we inhale. Consider yourself enhanced. Happening since we last saw each other. Okay, so public service announcement, PSA. I don't know if you've gotten these, Jason, but there are these fake notices going out. I actually got one this morning. They're supposed to be coming out from the city about parking tickets. Have you got one?
I have not.
So yeah, basically, so you get like a text first thing, which is first red flag. But you get a text, and it basically shows like you have an outstanding parking violation, and that if you haven't gone in a while, so now it's gone to arrears, and like if you don't pay it, and then we have another hearing and it goes through, without you being present, then you will
They'll try to arrest you or something like that, or it'll be like another penalty.
And at first, like it got me because I was like, I had a shot of fear because I was like, shit, I remember having a parking ticket that I don't have a car, I haven't had a car in years, but I think I had a parking ticket when I was driving my mom's car. And I was like, did I take care of it? But then when you look at it, it's like, first of all, one, the city, they always say when they send you something that they're never going to unsolicit, they'll just send you on like a text message. It's always going to come in like the mail or something. 2, or email.
Yeah, letters usually have
letters,
handle.
Yeah. 2, like it had. I just realized it had like the date. The date they wanted you to come into the court hearing. Yeah. It was March 29th. I was like, why would you really? You got it 3 days. Right. No one's gonna be able to go in 3 days, right?
Yeah.
And then 3, it had like a QR code. First of all, ain't no city, ain't no government official, government office that good to send you a QR code like a flyer in a party. You know what I mean? Like it's not EDC, bitch. You know what I mean? Just anyway, be out.
And did it have your name on it?
And it didn't have my name on it. That was the other thing. Yeah. So I was like, okay, it didn't have my name on it. It didn't even list the amount. You just had to scan the QR code to get the amount. And I was like, So if you guys hit that, you know what I mean? I actually got it twice, so keep that. But I will say that one time I was scammed. I'll tell you about this. I was right outside of college. And when you're about to get out of college, you spend money like you're dumb. Like I was getting payday loans. That's how bad it was. Yeah. And I needed money, and like it was one of those like if you pay to secure the money, they'll do it, which is always a red flag. And even back then, when like this was like 20 years ago, when scams were like not as proliferate, but I still did it because I really needed the money, and they got like $1,500 from me, and then they disappeared. And then I wound up talking to them, and I'm like, bro, just tell me you scamming me. Yeah. I looked you up online, and they can't Google Maps or whatever it was at the time can't find your ass. You know what I mean? Like the Chinese on White House right now. And he was like, I can't tell you, bro. But so even the best get scammed.
Yeah, I mean, hey, it's happened to me too.
Oh, really? You got scammed?
Yeah.
How?
On some crypto. Yeah. I went to this one site, and there were sometimes you get like these promos where people like have new coins. They try to get you to get buy into the new coin, and I did it, and it was a scam. They didn't get too much off me. It was like about $100, but it was still I fell for it. It's like it happens sometimes.
Because they were either they weaponize your like that urge that to like you're trying to get something new or against you, or they weaponize your desperation.
Or the deal is just too good to pass up.
Fuckers. Anyway, fuck them. Fuck the scammers. Oh God, I got something against hackers after this. Shit. Anyway, let's move on. But I will actually. Speaking of scams in Brazil, you definitely have to watch out for scams. Like, I love Brazil, but they just be advertising sometimes, and it ain't even be true. Like, there was a party that advertised that it was gonna be tribal house, right? Tribal house. But then like when you go online to look at the flyer online or the story, it didn't have music, which is kind of crazy. Like no party doesn't have music in the background on the flyer for their party. You know what I mean? That's crazy. So I was like, and then I looked at the lineup, and the lineup was all really fierce circuit DJs, and I was like, no, I've never heard these people play tribal, whatever. I go, and it was just circuit music, and that was fine because it was great circuit music, but like, don't just say the party is tribal house. They put it all over the flyer, all over everything, and it's not tribal house. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then there was another time I went to a party, and it like you have different levels of entry. So they had open bar for where you can get everything back, including backstage from the open bar, and then regular entry. So I got backstage from the open bar, go to the party, then I asked security where the backstage part says, and he sends me to the other side of the party. I asked security over there where it is, and they sent me back to the other side. When after 2 times of me walking back and forth this motherfucking football field, I was like, oh, there ain't no backstage.
Yeah,
you motherfuckers trying to play me. And then the last story, and this was, I got a hotel on Ipanema Beach. Ipanema Beach is like the main fucking beach. It is like being on fucking like Santa Monica Beach, Venice Beach, whatever. I got the hotel off of booking.com. It said it had motherfucking room service, and I checked because I wanted room service. So I specifically looked for that motherfucker. It had the little food plate and everything, motherfuckers, right? That didn't mean a buffet. It meant a room service. I get there, I check in my room, I call down. They're like, oh, we don't have a room service, but we know we can give you directions to the closest supermarket.
Directions?
Yeah. I was like, bro, you, so I'm saying, in Brazil, you gotta watch. Sometimes they just be advertising any old motherfucking thing. Shit.
And then once you in there, you there.
Yeah, and like
they got you.
Yeah, and they bank on you either not really wanting to argue or you not knowing enough Portuguese. You know what I mean? Because none of them speak English, and so that's one reason why I'm gonna work on my motherfucking Portuguese so I can cuss motherfuckers out. You know what I mean?
Go.
Girl, I will, bitch. I want to be able to say, bitch, don't play me in Portuguese. Sure, look that the fuck up. Oh, so I hear that there's another proposal to keep the bars open in California past 2 a.m. Have you heard?
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that. I haven't heard of it though.
We looked it up before this, and it was Scott Wiener. I guess the Jewish lobby likes that. Ooh. Anyway, so Scott Wiener did it, and the Jewish lobby that's not good. There's probably a Jewish lobby that is good. I'm sure there is. So I'm not talking about that.
But the Zionists.
Right, Zionists. So yeah, him and another assembly member or senator,
Matt
whatever.
Haney.
Yeah, who?
Matt Haney is
Matt
that Haney.
Let me look it up, shit, so I don't say it wrong. Matt Haney. Yeah. And Senator member Matt Haney and State Senator Scott Wiener basically drafted a proposal. It is basically calls for entertainment zones. Like we already kind of have entertainment zones now with like the casual night market or whatever, where you can drink on the street. So it'd be like basically creating those zones, and then you could drink until 4 a.m., which I think would be fun.
Yes. And we already talked about how at the Intuit Dome you can already do that in Los Angeles.
Right.
So I mean, it's just about expanding it at this point.
Yeah, and Scott has put this up multiple times, but I just feel like the last time we had the old fuddy-duddy Jerry Brown, like this is why you don't have, you know what I mean, like Matlock's old ass in the fucking as a governor or whatever, because they don't get it. You know what I mean? They don't drink anymore, bitch. They just got high. You know what I mean? High up the oxygen tanks. Yeah, you know what I mean? They hitting oxygen tanks like they're fucking whippets. Shit, fuckers. And the last but not least, random happening. I heard that Trump's district in the House of Representatives, they had a special election and it got flipped from red to blue.
Okay, well, I hope that's foreshadowing.
Yeah, right, girl. That tells you something. That if that ain't a Bell motherfucker weather, girl, he can't even keep the Mar-a-Lago district. You know what I mean? But I bet you, whoever is gonna be checking them ballot boxes in about a week.
In Mar-a-Lago, they gotta buy gas.
Yeah,
shit.
Right. And with that, let's go to my new favorite edition of the podcast, which is what really grinds my motherfucking girdles. Jason, do you know what grinds my fucking girdles?
What is it?
Does anyone else find themselves subscribing to the Uber One package by like the accident? Like It is. Did you use Uber?
I have it, but I didn't do it by accident. What happened?
So basically, like 4 different motherfucking times. 4 motherfucking times I've accidentally subscribed to Uber One, and I didn't even know. Like I would like all of a sudden look, because it's like buried, not buried, but if you're like doing it the price, it's like one of the last lines where they show this discount. And so when you look I just look to see how much the price is, and I move on, right? And which is why, one, what they bank on, and two, like in order for me with Apple Pay, in order for me to fucking pay for something, you got to click twice in your face, put the code in. But to do this monthly membership, you barely just click one button.
Okay.
And it's made, because I've literally accidentally done it 4 times, and it's taken me like, I don't even know, weeks or something to figure it out. Yeah. And then they try to give you that how, but bitch, don't. Oof, that's what's up.
So there's no kind of multiple step process.
Yeah, no.
It's just one click, boom, you done.
Clearly, and there's no real notification that comes up, because I use Uber all the time and I don't see the notification. Yeah. And there's like, you have to, like, there's no, you just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, it was annoying. It was really fucking annoying. If you use Uber, when you look at your statement, there's gonna be so many charges, you're not gonna know it's $9.99. Exactly. That's a regular charge. But why do I still use Uber, you ask? I know I need to start thinking about, like, do I want to take it out of my lexicon? You know what I mean? Fuck them and fuck that.
That would grind my girdles too.
Right. Thank you. And with that, I feel better. Woosah, woosah, woosah. Let's talk about things that make me happy, like parties. We're going to party reviews. Party reviews. So I did something you guys wouldn't expect. I went out this weekend. Shocking. So I went to a couple parties I want to talk about. Did you go to any?
I went to the beach on Friday, and then I went to a friend's birthday party Sunday, but I didn't really go to any official parties. I
wanted to go to the motherfucking beach all week. We talked about it, and I'm a Bulturi, like I'm a night owl, but like a cute Bulturi, like the black version, because there wasn't any in that motherfucking movie, except for that one guy. But anyway, what was I saying? Yeah, before I got sidetracked on wanting to be a vampire. I never fucking go out. Shit. I always miss the sun. But anyway, so Sexy Icon, I went to the Sexy Icon at Club 6. That was where they brought Reload from LA. The Afters in LA came. Music was fucking fierce. First DJ, DJ Jay Garcia. You just know him before he DJ'd. And now he's a fierce fucking DJ. It was cute. The boys were cute. The dancing was cute. I was all up, motherfucker. Even in the dark room. Ooh. Right. Soft Serve at the cafe was another really good party. It's a day party on Sunday. Have you ever been?
I haven't been to Soft Serve.
It's fierce. I think it's monthly. But it's at the cafe, which also I keep saying that I love that they have parties at the cafe now. And when they have a party with people your age or in the same age range, you know what I mean? Like whatever the filters are on Grindr. And it's fun. And the music was really fierce. They had some really fierce DJs, including Beverly Chills. She was there. She killed it. Yeah. So for upcoming parties, let's see, on 3/26, this is a very late call out, but I just got the flyer because that's this Thursday. So it's at Zoosh, which is a new party with DJ Beverly Chills and DJ Boots. Have you ever been to Zoosh?
Zoosh, yes, I have.
Yeah, it's cute. Yeah. But the bar is much cuter than the fucking name, girl. Just don't even get me started on this fucking name, but it's Zoosh.
I've actually played there once. It was a cute party.
Yeah. So I'll be there. It's gonna be like some like tech house and high and some techno music, sorry. So yeah, and then on 3/27 at Public Works, there is an Electrolux party. They're having a full dance party, 3 stages, blah blah blah. Hopefully there will not be any fucking wrestling, and then there will not be any. There will be good dancing. Speaking of which, I'm not gonna say anything, but there's a certain club that's advertising for wrestlers because they're doing wrestling a lot. I was like, oh god,
what's up with that?
I don't know. Every time I think about go-go wrestling and all the like grease, I just feel like my face is gonna break out. You know what I mean? Like I'm just breaking out thinking about it. Oh, my pores are clogging. Let's see, at 3/27 at Bo, there's a Circuit Poppy bringing you some fierce circuit music, so I can't wait for that. 3/28 at Club 6, there's Prime VHS, which is coming. Prime is cute, actually. The boys can be cute. The DJs are from Atlanta and Berlin, so you know. Okay. I guess we're wearing all black. There's a booth at 4:30 on 4/3. There's a booth at a Queer Warehouse. Keep talking about the fire code. Can't say it more enough. And the 4/19 is a daytime awareness at a Rio. This is the next edition. This is the April run, so everyone should be nice and holy. Okay. And that includes a double entendre. And then last but not least, on 5/23, there's a Maximus at Bo. I'm a host for that party, which is why it's included 3 months out. So it's got fierce circuit music. The DJs are always so fine, and the boys are cute. Do you have any parties you want to rep?
Yeah, 3/28 Saturday. This Saturday coming up, I'm going to be at Lick It at Powerhouse. And 4/18, that's 2 Saturdays from now. I'm going to be playing at the Comfort and Joy party at Club 6.
All right, 4/18, Comfort and Joy.
4/18, yes.
4/18, Comfort and Joy. where hopefully you get a little comfort and some joy. And with that, let's go to our world news section. So let's talk about what's going on in the world. Excuse me, burped. Ooh, good thing you didn't hear that. Iran named successor to security chief killed in the U.S.-Israeli attack. So Iran is named Mohammed Bahar Zaldaher. I'm gonna look that up. A former commander of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Corps, or the IRGC, as successor of the former head of the country's Supreme National Security Council, who was killed in an airstrike last week. The Iranian president's deputy of communications announced his appointment on Twitter. The article suggests that Mohammed's appointment means that the IRGC is trying to add more military layers in its organization amidst attacks from Israel and the U.S. Also suggested is that this appointment is a proof of the growing clout of the IRGC in decision making in the country, since the current president hasn't been seen since he succeeded his father. Which, first of all, duh. Like, I mean, if the fucking the United States and Israel has killed his father, his mother, his son, his sister. You know what I mean? Why would he be out in public? Right. You know what I mean? Like, exactly. That's like, no, I'm not coming out to talk to you, honey. You know what I mean? No, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean?
I'm staying inside.
Right. I'm not going to get on like a special with Oprah in the middle of you trying to kill me. You know what I mean? Like, but I guess they're trying to say, like, it shows that someone is running the country and that the IRGC is stacking more layers in the military to account for probably possible assassinations.
Yeah. I mean, they're not playing. And Trump, you know, he got played in this one. Like, Netanyahu is the one who really wanted the war. Mm-hmm. You know, he convinced Trump to do it, and now he's in over his head.
Yeah, Netanyahu, Lindsey Graham, fucking, you know, we know that his family is making money off various parts of this war. It's like, you know, we talked about the corporation they started that works on drones. So, you know, the people around him are warmongers and have either knew something was going to happen or set up things to benefit off the war. And so then they have a vested interest in this war. You know what I mean? Jared Kushner, all of them.
Yeah, I mean, it reminded me of Iraq and how George Bush went into Iraq, and they had all these defense contractors that got all this money because now we're at war and we have to, you know, supply the troops. So, I mean, it's fucked up. The whole thing is fucked up. We should not be there. There were so many people that were saying that this was a bad idea before it ever
The whole
happened.
fucking world was saying it. Like, there was like literally, unless you had to go deep on Twitter to find some motherfucker who was saying go to war. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was saying not to go, and this is what would happen. Iran would come back, that they had been planning for this, that they were going to straight Hormuz, that everything was planned. We knew this was going to happen. Literally, I know, and the military told him, and this motherfucker still, because he only listens to what he wants to listen to, and he's gotten used to it. Everyone tells him what he wants. They're afraid to give him feedback, whatever. This is exactly what happens when you have an authoritarian, right?
Yeah, and the first time he was in office, at least he had some people around him that would tell him no. Mm-hmm. Now, he's just got a bunch of yes people, loyalists, that just let him do whatever he wants.
Because he was still afraid of consequences, but we've shown him he doesn't have to be. We've impeached his ass. We fucking, you know what I mean? We've like thrown court cases, and he got in there and he threw more. We know the Supreme Court allowed him to have supreme power or whatever. My only thing is, these are my points, right? So like, why are we still there now? Like, literally, is it stubbornness? Like, what is keeping us there now? Because now it's just ego keeping us in, because he's like trying to make these announcements. You know what I mean? And like, this was the whole point the whole point was regime change. The regime ain't going nowhere. If anything, it's gotten worse. Yeah. You know what I mean? We didn't want his son, Ahmadinejad's son, to be leader. His son is leader. We didn't want the IRGC to get more people in power. They got more people in power, girl. Right. It is literally exactly what we said was going to happen. So why are we still there? It's making it worse. If we keep killing people and they keep putting more people in power, turning like, we're not talking about Lebanon, girl, and the million people that are fucking, you know what I mean, that are don't have a home because they've been displaced because Israel's trying to keep the land, which is now they're saying they're gonna keep the land, girl. Anyway, of course the fucking president of Iran isn't been seen. I keep talking about that. Also, I keep talking about Lebanon. I think I said all I had to say about this motherfucker. We do have another article, which we're going to talk about right now, and it's like, it helps, I think, illuminate some of the questions about this article. Okay, so the second article, the topic is White House confronted over huge bets made minutes before Trump's big war move. So basically, the summary is traders placed nearly $500 million in bets on falling oil prices just 15 minutes before President Trump's announcement of productive talks with Iran. Prices sent oil, which sent prices falling. Iran announced that no such talks had happened, as they are only talking to other governments about a stoppage of the war, but they're not directly talking with America. Something happened in January when also the same thing happened in January when some lucky person betted on the capture of Maduro just hours before U.S. forces captured him.
Same thing happened at Liberation Day when he announced all those tariffs.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just want to include this real quick. We don't have to go all the way through it because it just maybe the answer is maybe the reason why we went there, why we're there. You know what I mean? Like, we know his family is making hella money off military things. We don't know what Jared Kushner and them are investing in. His friends around the table are making bets.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what is it? Like, Trump lies on everything. So obviously he's not even in talks with Iran. So who would know that this lie was going to be the one lie that affected oil prices?
I know.
And that's why Trump made the announcement anyway, because he wanted to, like, you know, drop oil prices artificially.
Yeah, well, he said he had that deadline that he was going to start attacking their oil refineries.
Yeah.
And
he never did.
Well, because the deadline came, but I think he got pressured to make this announcement that they were going to pull back or he's going to extend the deadline. And now the price went down and people made all this money.
Or he got coached to do it because they knew they were going to make money. I mean, whoever either is directing it in ways to make money, or they're just really good at, you know what I mean, putting in bets and shit.
Yeah, just manipulating the market.
Way, yeah, it's just like, it seems like, because I'm just wondering, why are we still here? We're not gaining anything by being here, unless maybe the people in that room are making money off of it, and they're just keeping. And you have Netanyahu who wants to just keep cover because he can keep doing Lebanon and keep doing shit as long as we're talking about America and not Israel.
Right.
And now we're not talking about Palestine.
That part.
And with that, let's go to American news. And we're back with American news. So ICE agents sent to airports to assist TSA as partial shutdown drags on. So ICE agents have been deployed to airports to help with security due to TSA agents after either quitting or calling in sick. There have been really long lines at the airports that use TSA because of the standoff in the government over the funding of the Department of Homeland Security, specifically the actions, which is in part because the Democrats are holding out to talk specifically about the actions of ICE, and Department of Homeland Security funds them. So yeah, that's why there's been a partial shutdown going on for like a while now. It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're helping much, actually. ICE at the airports, I mean...
That's what I'm hearing. Like, literally, like, where the places where they are, unlike in SF where they arrested this poor woman in front of her child. Yep. Who was talking about, thank God they didn't take the child. That's new. Right. But like, they're not even, I mean, they're not trained, so they're literally just walking around and standing there. And I think we also talked about how, like, ain't nobody coming to America now as a tourist.
No.
Which is funny because Trump runs hotels, bitch. You know what I mean? And international tourists are the people who pay and stay at big, you know, hotels.
Right.
So like, I don't understand. You know what I mean? Especially when we have everyone all over the world knows about, like, you know, Alex and the other lady, like ain't nobody gonna come here when they think ICE agents are gonna just shoot you on sight and arrest you no matter what you are, even if you're an American citizen.
And I think it's gonna hurt air travel too, because people are gonna be less inclined to fly. You know, like even if you are a citizen, you know ICE is gonna be at the airport. I've already heard people talking about they've had trips planned and now they're thinking about driving or taking a train. So, you know, it's gonna hurt the airline industry, it's gonna hurt tourism, and they're not there for anything but to cause trouble.
Right, they're not, like, I read an article, they're not even asking for IDs.
Yeah,
what the fuck are they there?
Like, they don't have like the TSA training.
Right, they don't have a TSA training for white supremacists yet. Right. So shit, let's go to break. Why we have one soon. All right, this will be called a dog whistle playbook. Let's go to break. We'll be back with local news. And we're back with local news. SF supervisors seem unlikely to adopt many commission streamlining recommendations. Of course they fucking do. Sure. So basically, the Board of Supervisors may decide to ignore much of the recommendations made from a committee that was formed to reduce the city's red tape or bureaucracy. The city has 152 commissions where residents can volunteer to help advise elected officials and the city staff shape policy decisions and provide oversight of government functions. As part of Measure E, which was passed by voters, the commission was established to look at SF and come up with recommendations. The task force recommended reducing the committees by about 40%, reducing the number total overall to 87. But there was some pushback. Of course, there was to many of the recommendations. Some pushback on the proposals, which were there because it would eliminate independent oversight of law enforcement bodies. Some recommendations would give more power to key figures to hire and fire board members or chairs, like the police chief or the mayor. And people opposed that. Some criticized the lack of diversity on the panel. It had 5 people, 4 women and 1 man, and they all appeared to be white. What do you think?
I mean, I don't think they should change it. I mean, some of the commissions that they wanted to get rid of or consolidate were the Commission on the Status of Women, the Arts Commission, the Human Rights Commission. So, I mean, I think the more opinions we have here, the better. And why would you want to? I mean, I understand maybe if your argument is that you want to streamline things and cut the bureaucracy, okay, but I think people need to have a voice too.
Well, I disagree.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like if you have like 152 commissions, it's way more than any other city. And it takes forever to get things done. And that affects our ability to build housing, or affects our ability to get people who try to open clubs, and you can't open anything here because of red tape. You know what I mean? It takes too long. It's really easy for somebody to put a stop to it because of an environmental thing or whatever. So I just feel like, and that's the problem with Democrats in terms of, we can create a lot of bureaucracy, but sometimes too much bureaucracy is a problem. And I think you see that in our red tape. And my only thing is that people are really it's like the not in my backyard people, they're always opposing something, but then there's never any proposal from their side to actually then get the same effect. You know what I mean? It's like this one, okay, if you think we need the women's board, then what boards do we need to cut? Because you can't just be a no on that and then fuck everything else. You know?
I mean, that's kind of how I see what you're saying. It's as far as I'm sure they're all associated with something. They're not all associated with the same thing. So I'm sure babies you could cut. I don't know how all of these are used and how many people are a part of all of them. Mm-hmm. So it's probably a pretty nuanced subject to go through and cut things
which is
out.
Why they made the fucking committee. You know what I mean?
Exactly. But 40% of them, I don't know.
I think we could probably look at the numbers. Probably still more than most cities. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think you can make an argument that there's probably overlap, and what they're trying to do is reduce overlap. But people are afraid that if you try to consolidate, then they won't have as much of a focus. But then the problem becomes if everything has a really big focus, and you can't do everything. You can't do things in a timely manner. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see that too.
So it's got to be somewhere we know that we've gone too far to whatever side because we can't barely get shit done, can't build anything like we just talked about. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there's got to be a way to go back. But I'm just saying, all I hear in this, and maybe I need to do the research to see what the other proposals are. But it just seems like, okay, if we can't cut these, then what can we cut? There's got to be something to cut. You can't tell me that all of these committees are just as important, and we can't consolidate. You know what I mean? Because you have to. If not, then what is the way that we get shit done? Because it's not getting done. Yeah. You know what I mean? And how do we get through all these motherfucking things? You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of bureaucracy in the local government too. It's not just about these commissions, but
yeah, this is an example of. And it's it's a good a thing of control. I love yes, they don't want to eliminate oversight of the police because we want to be able to have citizen oversight of that. That's important.
Yep.
But then why was the committee? It doesn't also say why the committee wanted to produce them. Is there already something there? But you know what I mean. So there's, like you said, it's a really nuanced argument. We don't want to give the silly police chief and the mayor too much power because then they become too powerful. But our mayor is one of the least powerful mayors in the city. You know what I mean? They have the least amount of power compared to other big cities. And is that a problem? Does that, you know what I mean?
I don't think it is.
I think it,
I mean, it could be.
I think if you argue that we can't get shit much done, but
yeah, it's a nuanced argument, and I would need to look and see all of the different committees that they want to consolidate, because 40% sounds like a lot. And I don't know how many people are on all of these committees too.
I mean, like I said, yeah, it's good to look up. I always hear these, no, not in my backyard. That's too much. We can't cut that. We can't cut that. We need this. We need this. And for the teachers union, they said, they were we don't need to be cutting teachers unions. They have accounts that they can pull from with savings and all that. They gave actual proposals, other things that we could cut. They weren't just saying, no, not in my backyard. They was no, why not in their backyard? You know what I mean? Why not in that bank account, motherfucker, not in mine?
Right.
So I'm just saying, that's all I want to see, because it's at some point we just keep saying no to things and then not shit happens. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, let's go to pop culture news. And we're back for pop culture news. this is a good week for this. I enjoyed these stories that you just,
Okay. Yeah.
the pop culture stories are fun. So Alan Ritchson, horrible name, and his neighbors get into his neighbor get into this argument. So if you haven't seen the video in the link, then you have to see the fucking video. It's a hot mess. Basically, Alan Ritchson, he's a semi-famous actor who got into an altercation with his neighbor. Basically, he smacked him around a little. The actor has since released a statement saying he hit the guy because he was pushing him and yelling at him. Video is attached. So see the video. It's a mess. You saw the video, yeah?
Yes.
What did you think?
I mean, first of all, it's like what were they arguing about? Like, because I couldn't tell that from the video. The video starts where they're kind of just like starting the altercation.
Yeah, so basically, I guess the actor Alan was on the motorcycle, and the neighbor just walks out in front of him as he's driving, and then pushes his bike.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
Basically stop him, and he starts yelling about you can't be driving, going all kinds of speeds, there's kids playing here, blah, blah, blah. But one, he literally just walks in front of the guy as he's driving, and then pushes the bike. And then Alan's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" That
was crazy.
Yeah, he didn't do anything then. He was just like, "Dude, like, what are you doing?"
What the fuck are you doing?
And then you keep doing it. I think he pushes the bike and pushes the guy again, and that's when Alan just starts hitting him.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just keep pushing me, right?
Right.
And then the other funny thing is when the guy's like, "There's fucking kids playing." The only kids playing in the street were his kids, right? And also, funny thing is that if he was able to stop and not hit you, and you just walk straight out in front of him, he's not going that fast.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like if he was able to, he literally walked directly in front of that man while he was driving on the bike. So if he was able to do that and not hit you and stop that soon, he couldn't have been going that fast.
He wasn't
that yelling that he was
right.
tearing down the motherfucking street. Otherwise, you would have got ran the fuck over.
Right.
So it was clearly like, and I just find it hard to believe that this actor guy was like revving the engine in a neighborhood where the house he owns with his kids playing outside.
Do you think that his celebrity status had anything to do with the altercation?
I don't know. Like, it was pretty aggressive. It definitely seemed like they had some kind of like altercations before.
Yeah, it felt like they had met.
Because who just does that? Who's just that physical with a neighbor that? So it might have been maybe he's driven it before.
Right.
They've talked, or maybe this guy, because it just like that's a crazily angry fucking response to do to somebody. Because Alan Ritchson is big. He's a muscular man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's on, like, he was with 3 other people. That's a bold motherfucker to walk up to a man and his 2 buddies on bikes and just walk out in the middle of the street and stop right in front of them. That is an entitlement, like a fucking superpower. Like, that's an entitlement, man. Because, oh my God, like, that is bold.
Yeah.
To walk in front of a moving vehicle, bitch.
Yeah, it was kind of a crazy video.
Right. And he was like, stay down, because he couldn't fight. And it was just like, I was surprised at that, bitch. To be that fucking bold, you would expect your ass to have to be able to fight.
Right.
Shit, walk in front of a moving vehicle like you fucking Superman. Shit.
I mean, if people have a right to defend themselves.
And he was pushing him physically and pushing his bike. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he had 2 other people with him who didn't jump in. So, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Like, and he was saying, stay down. It was crazy. Let's go to the second article. So for the second article, we have a man who twerks. First of all, I don't know if that was that twerking girl. Let's use a different term. He was moving his hips on a Jeep seconds before the brutal car crash. Once again, the title says, "Oh, there's no summary else." Just say, did you see the video?
I did.
First, I don't even know. What are your thoughts?
I mean, why would you be twerking like that? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, and sometimes, like, when you're in a vehicle, you need to have your seatbelt on. You need to make sure you're secured in. So anything that happens to you after that is kind of on you.
It's kind of like God was like, "No, white boy, that's not it." Boop. Right. But like, first of all, like, the article was like, or when you read it, it's like it was in standing traffic. No, that wasn't. That was going pretty fast.
Yeah.
That was going 10 to 20 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. That's not when you do that. That's when you're like in bumper to bumper. You're moving an inch every hour or something, and then you just doing a party or something. But when the car starts going, like 25 posted speed limit speeds, then you get in the motherfucking Jeep. You know what I mean? Like, what is wrong with you? That is going really fast to be doing what he's doing on the top of a fucking car.
Right.
Like, have you lost your mind? Like, what drugs were you doing? And you probably should have done half a dose.
Yeah, he was definitely on something.
Fuck. Like, and when the car got hit, Jesus.
I mean, do you feel sorry for people like that when they get hurt like that?
I'm trying to I try not to like you deserve it, but like, yo, dumbass should have thought of it. Like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that you did it and the fact that it happened is like core. Especially, like I said, the speed, I can see you act a little fool ain't nothing moving, ain't been moving for an hour. There's no cars around you moving. That shit, cars were moving. There was space, you know what I mean? It was real traffic. It was posted speed limit speeds, and he was still twerking like he was Sierra. You know what I mean? Like you did, like I would, like you had to hold on a lot stronger when the motherfucker hit drive, and you still wanted to keep shaking it like you're Shakira. Like your hips was moving the cord,
right?
Like you was in a Waymo. You know what I mean? Like it's crazy. Let's go to the protest section. All right, so for the protest section, a couple things we want to talk about. There was a protest in SF against the war in Iran. 1,000 people walked down Market Street to protest against the war. I think that's kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, like.
Yeah. Were you there?
No, I didn't go. I actually just read about it. I didn't even hear about it. But I mean, I feel like even if, protests aren't going to get Donald Trump to change his mind, it still can show the world that there are people in this country who don't want the war. That's important. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
To show that they're, we are with the people, you know what I mean, who don't want the war. We're with the world, and that we oppose it. Because I think it's important to show those images.
Exactly. Yeah, and it shows people around the world that we're in solidarity with them.
Yeah.
And that not everybody in America is for what's happening right now.
Right. And there's one more thing I have. There's a planned No Kings rally on 328 to protest immigration policy. So, No Kings rallies have been pretty big. So, power to the protests in SF for the war against the war in Iran, and power to the people. Everyone be safe at the planned No Kings rally on 328. Yeah. Now let's move to our positive news section. Something positive to talk about to the world full of chaos. So this week, seagrass restoration is progressing, which is cool. I guess we always need more seagrass, bro. Mm-hmm. And the UN High Seas Treaty, this is a cool one. The UN High Seas Treaty has officially, come into effect. It's the first international treaty on sea and conserving sea biodiversity. There was nothing out there before. It was, just countries doing whatever they want. So it mandates, amongst things it does, is it mandates studies being done before any large projects like deep sea mining on, the ecosystem and the environment. You have 30 conservation zones in the sea that will focus just on conserving life in those zones. Cool. Yeah, I thought the UN is still can be impotent, but I mean, if we can get most of the countries, on board with something, then that's a start. It's the first treaty of its kind. It's the first time we're actually talking about the ocean as important. And I feel like steps like this help me think that maybe we are doing better. You know what I mean? Because there is a future where we didn't do it at all. Maybe later than we did, but there's something out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Especially with global warming and climate change.
Mm-hmm. And we really just need the right administrations in there, you know what I mean, to actually goose it up. And that's in multiple areas. That's the United States, because we have so much power. That's China, you know what I mean? So, But yeah. That's positive news. And that is the end of our show, ladies and gentlefolks. Stay tuned after the news recap for the first half interview with the amazing Lindsay Slowhands. She may have slow hands, but give her a fast clap. That was good. Thank you, Jason, for being here.
You are welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you guys for listening. And as always, remember to follow me so you'll know when I post new shows. Remember to listen, rate, share, and laugh. And as always, keep it sassy, San Francisco. Ciao, ciao.
Bye.
Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Wow. I sound amazing.
Okay.
Jason?
Okay. Mic check.
Okay.
Mic
Look
check.
at that.
Okay.
Mic check. If you hear pans and pots, that's my roommate's boyfriend. He gets angry and throws pots around, breaks things. And he cooks for me and shakes his ass. And that's it. Ciao, ciao. Well, for the sound check, ciao, ciao, ciao. Stay around for everything else. Bye. Oh God, I forgot to press stop. Hello, everyone. It is I, Roman. And I'm feeling a little blue. And we are here with another interview with WhenInRome. And tonight I'm here with the lovely, the amazing, the effervescent the gregarious, the talented, the illustrious, yes, the kind of blonde Lindsay Slowhands.
Hello, bitches.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So, yeah, let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it. Questions for me.
Yes.
What do you want to know?
I do. Everything. Okay, so let's start with, I hear you're from Modesto. What was it like growing up in the middle of nowhere?
We did middle of nowhere things because it was also the 90s.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You know, played with magnifying glass and burning bugs.
Okay.
Like we would all do. But
yeah, little serial killer. Look at you. Little Charles Manson. Oh, my God. I love it.
But we'd get into trouble, you know, just like ride our bikes around, climb up telephone poles.
Okay. That's literally the middle of nowhere tea. That's literally what you do.
Yeah.
Okay, so how gay friendly was Modesto?
It was not at all.
Especially in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
Nobody was out?
Nope. In my high school experience, there was only one other person that was out, and
So you were out?
I was not out.
No, you were not
No,
out.
I was not that one person.
Okay.
The other one person was very, very out and flamboyant, and I always looked up to them in a way that, wow, they are really living their life the way they want to, because I was so unsure, you know, back then. Trying to fight the urges like a lot of kids were, especially growing up in that kind of town.
Yeah, I mean, it was exactly the same. I grew up in Santa Barbara, and I remember I wasn't out, although I'm sure I was flaming like a hot Cheeto. But there was one person that was out in our school, and he was very like out. And I remember looking up to him, you know what I mean? Because he got a lot of shit. He didn't really get a lot of shit, but it was like, it was like he was that guy, you know what I mean? So everyone knew and everyone was talking about it. And at the time, that's not what I would have wanted. Do you know what I mean? To be the one person everyone talked about. Okay, so gay friendly. Modesto wasn't gay friendly. Were you out to your family?
So no. The whole family situation got the whole situation got interesting for me. I had a very weird journey because I also play music and I'm a musician. And so I had a band at the time.
What do you play?
I play piano and bass guitar mainly and sing.
Okay.
So I formed this band with my brother and our best friend. But then I wasn't out and we started going to church.
Yeah. At what age?
16.
Okay. Parents, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are we doing Mormon moms? That is a jump.
So it was our own jump into it. Our parents were not around.
Oh, you guys decided on your own to go to church.
Yeah.
Definitely giving us not a lot to do.
There was a lot of depression happening with me and a lot of loneliness.
I mean, church is not bad. It's just like at that age, it's an interesting choice, right?
So in a way, the church saved me, but it also then was working against me.
Right.
In the moment, in the time, it was perfect for what I needed.
Yeah.
I needed the community. I needed something some friends because I had nothing being the gay person. And so when I came out, it wasn't so much of a coming out to be gay. It was coming out to let the church know that I have this problem that I'm trying to overcome.
Right.
So it was a very weird time coming out. So then everybody knew about that. But after 3 years in it and I'm not changing, they're like, oh, well, maybe you kind of have to live with this for the rest of your life and it's your struggle. And I'm like, no, that's not what you promised. And so you lied and I'm leaving.
I like that. Like, no, sorry, that's not what I was told. I have the brochure actually. Let's go back.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
So when I left, I started exploring more into parties and the nightlife house parties scene in Modesto. Okay. Because I missed all of that being in the church. And so I missed that element of getting that out, the drinking and the fun and that stuff.
Yeah, but maybe you were finding yourself though, because you know what I mean. And we both know if you don't know yourself very well and you start to party, it is not good.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
a lot of people started, their addictions a lot early.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so sorry, continue.
Yeah, so I started to explore just going out with non-Christian people because I've had lots.
What was the difference? That first non-Christian party, you were like, okay,
we stopped going to
These heathens are
Denny's
cool.
and having gatherings and
Yeah.
talking about, the community and
Right,
church
right,
and stuff.
right.
And then going and drinking and getting drunk and partying with the girls and the boys and just having fun, finally actually getting to experience
You were to like Applebee's
myself.
instead of Denny's.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, so then so you started exploring yourself. What age were you?
So this was right after high school, so 17.
Okay, okay. And then when did you move to SF? That was 2006. How old were you when you moved?
I was 22.
What made you move?
I did not belong in that town. I had bigger dreams, I had bigger ambitions.
You were gay.
I was gay, and I didn't.
Like
I
us,
just-
yeah.
yeah, I needed to be around people like me.
Yeah.
And there wasn't that. And the people that I did meet that were gay weren't good people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, I need to go and explore a city where I can finally just start over without all of this baggage hanging around.
The allure of the big city brings
Yeah.
us all, right? Okay, so what was SF like in 2006?
2006. Well, I never listened to pop music, so that's very interesting when we get to Lindsay.
Okay.
I was more alternative. I was very much into the indie scene at the
Okay.
time.
Okay.
So indie dance clubs. And so there was a club called Pop Scene
Okay.
that I went to back in the day. And I saw the Killers there before they blew up. I saw Muse there before they blew up.
Wow.
So that was my introduction to going to the city. That was like 2004. And so by getting a little exposure that way, I started to want to be in the city more. And so then I moved in 2006 and I was still doing that. I didn't meet any gay friends yet. I had like a lot of girlfriends that were in nightlife.
Okay. Okay.
And so I would go out and party with them before I met any gays,
Right.
which came a little later.
And what was the first gay club you went to?
Badlands.
Like us
It's the
all,
one.
man.
It's
Yeah,
the
like
one.
us fucking. Oh, I remember my first time. Not remember, but I remember going to Badlands when I first started coming to SF. Whew, I literally love it. It's in all of our origin stories.
And this was before I moved here. It was like 2005, probably, when I first made it to Badlands.
What was partying like in the gay scene and when you started?
Well, I didn't really dive into the gay scene until like around 2010 when I started meeting some cool people.
So wait, you were here. You moved in 2006. So literally for those 4 years, it was really just kind of doing straight things and like alternative events and growth things.
I just had these three girlfriends and I just partied with them all the time. And I was so happy. I was just going to these like Edinburgh Castle and all these straight places. But these girls were on my side.
And also the type of music. You weren't gonna find that type of music at the gay
No,
places. You know what I mean?
not at
Like,
all,
yeah,
yeah.
like so.
It's the hipster music.
Yeah.
That's kind of the hipster era.
Right,
And
right,
so I
right.
was very much into that.
Okay. So 2010 is when you started to explore the gay scene. When did you actually start doing drag?
2009.
Okay,
So it kind of happened around the same time when I started to meet a couple people at the end of 2009, and then I started forming my core group of friends at the time in 2010.
So what made you then to start doing drag? I mean, it seems like you probably loved girls. You hung out with a lot of them, right? So
Yeah, but it wasn't anything to do with them. No, I actually did dress up one time in drag and went out with them, but that was like just some blush and some eyelashes. That wasn't like drag.
Oh, the full accoutrement. Yeah.
I just put on a wig and a dress.
Yes. Okay. So then, what made you start wanting to do drag?
So I just started seeing the queens around town and being really inspired by the artistry. I never thought of it. I never was exposed to that. And so I'm an artist through and through, and music is what brought me here. I started writing music on my own when I got here, released an album when I got here, toured the album when I got here.
Okay.
And that happened within a year. Well, I released it in 2010. Did it?
What's the album called?
Well, my band name was Obscene Sound.
Obscene Sound.
Obscene Sound.
Obscene Sound. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
very melodic, very emo,
Okay.
dreamy.
Check it out, motherfucker. Okay. Obscene Sound. Ooh.
It's on iTunes.
Hey, yeah. Okay.
But yeah, it was finally my expression outside of the church to feel all the feelings about like the breakup and leaving my brother, which was he's heavy into the church. And so I wrote songs about that to really let that stuff out. But with that coming to the city, that's not really what the gay scene wanted. They didn't want the kind of music, especially that I was writing. And it wasn't really what was happening at that time.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And so then I was like, well, what am I going to do? I'm an artist and I still need to create something.
And I want to be loved.
And I want that attention too. Yeah. The recognition of creating something. And so I started going to Tranny Shack at the Stud back in the day. And just saw really inspirational performances. Like one artist that really caught my eye early on was Rhea Light. And I will never forget the first performance I ever saw of her. And she's just the most artistic drag queen in the sense of her mind and the creativity. And I was like, I love that mind and that crazy, weird mind. But the kind of drag that I wanted to do was prettier drag, not really fitting into the Stud kind of drag. So there was some sort of weirdness that I had to figure out about myself in order to figure out what kind of drag I wanted to become.
Was there other, like, was there other drag like that around? I mean, there was tranny, so it was just Tranny Shack, really?
Yes. The Stud was like the spot. And then there'd be the Castro Queens, but it was like Pollo Del Mar. But honestly, when I stepped in, there were no young queens. It was all slightly older queens already in their 30s and 40s. And so when I popped on the scene, I was so fresh, so young, and so ready to do it. And I think that caught a lot of people's attention.
Yeah, I mean, I think in here I have about like, when you started talking about like Lindsay Lohan, you know what I mean? And that was like, what was, you were kind of like your muse or whatever. Like, I was thinking like, was that similar to what you were saying in terms of people at that time? Were people doing other looks, other drag queens doing people from that era? And it doesn't sound like no.
No, so San Francisco was named as like the messy drag because of the artistry of it. And I thought that was incredible, like the blood and the guts of it all. Their dirtiness of Heclina eating ass and getting shit smeared all over her face and things like that. And so it was raunchy. It wasn't pretty. And then the pretty existed in the Castro, but there wasn't very much of it at the time.
And it was like an old school,
more pageant.
Yeah, pageanty. Yeah. Not like a pop culture thing.
No. And so when I started creating her, it was like I didn't fit in anywhere. And so that was the hardest part starting. I didn't fit in to the Stud and I didn't fit in the Castro.
And your music that you were like at the moment doing didn't fit in there either, right? So
no,
a lot of like
me liking alternative music. So I had to like start to figure her out.
That's really cool. And so then what got, I guess, how did you get to Lindsay Lohan then? Or that kind of like that look?
So the whole first year, so 2009 was like my official coming out as a drag queen. I went to Juanita Moore's New Year's Eve party in 2009 dressed as Lady Gaga. And that caught so many people's attention. Someone else did my makeup. I created the outfit, the hair, and everything. And it was so elaborate that it spread through the community really quickly how great I looked as her. And so I got that recognition so quickly that I kept doing Lady Gaga looks. And so then Heclina was like, I love what you're doing. I want you to perform for Tranny Shack. And so this is when it already had moved to DNA Lounge. So during that time, I was still just doing impersonations. And performing Lady Gaga songs. And so I wanted to get out of that and start to figure out who Lindsay was. And so during that time, right then was 2011, I worked with Heclina about starting a party. And she gave me my first start throwing a party at a bar called Rebel that most people don't know ever existed.
I've never.
She was part owner, and she let me start hella tight there. And so that's where it began. And so stepping into Lindsay there, I got to start to get my feet wet and figure out the movements, the vibes, what I was creating. And the party was started as a 90s party. And that went only so far. And so I was like, the 90s is everything. How do you make a successful party when the music is so broad? So as I progressed into my character and into the style of the party, it started to just come together really smoothly.
Okay.
So I leaned into the bubblegum pop era of the 90s, which is the Britney Spears, NSYNC, Backstreet Boys, Christina Aguilera. So that came rather quickly. And with that, I needed a character that went along with that. And so...
Like their host.
Yes. And so during that time, it was like, you know, Paris Hilton was the party girl, the life of the party. And so my character wanted to be the life of this party.
Right.
I wanted to be right in the middle of it, everybody talking to her and being the socialite.
And on that, and talk about being a socialite, who are you talking to? We're going to go to break and we'll be right back.
Yeah. Mwah.
And we are back. It is I and Lindsay Slowhands, and we are having the only conversation. Let's get into it. Yeah. Okay, so right before we went to break, you were talking about developing, you know, the Lindsay character, and you were saying you wanted her to be the life of the party. Do you have anything else, or I just had a question like, what do you think? I think you mentioned when we talked about some background questions that like you wanted Lindsay to be the assertive or like outgoing person that you weren't.
Yeah.
So how did that help?
So I'm naturally an introvert, very quiet, very reserved, speak when spoken to. And so when I started becoming Lindsay, I had to change that part of me. And so creating Lindsay was like a character. It was like me forming another person because who I wasn't going to work as a drag queen. And I already knew that. And so...
And it's not who you wanted to be, right? You wanted to be someone else. I wanted someone different.
Yeah. So like the inspiration really came from like the girls in high school, listening to pop music and being the cheerleader and things like that, but evolved into socialites, you know?
So is there like a marked difference in how you act when you are in drag?
Yeah.
Because of you're like brighter or
Yeah.
blah, blah, I'll go say,
hey bitches, how I carry myself. Oh my God, let's party.
Okay.
So it's a very different energy.
Tiring. I'm sure you probably get all like,
After
woo!
After 4 hours, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I don't know how those bitches do it all the time because I am tired.
Yeah.
Okay. So did you perform in other cities? What other cities have you performed in?
Taking her to New York.
Taking her to New York.
Yeah, but not to perform. I just went to party.
Okay. Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
So do you have a place or places that you have not performed that you want to, or something that you haven't done with her that you want to do?
Honestly, I feel very accomplished. I've been asked to do many different things, but my main goal was to create that party, Hella Tight.
Hella Tight.
And it was more of a success than I could have ever imagined.
So tell me about Hella Tight.
So after being at Rebel for maybe 6 months, the bar closed. I wasn't ready to end Hella Tight because I just started. So I got so Sip, the owner of Underground SF at the time, then bought Q Bar.
Okay.
So he left, and then a new owner of Underground SF came in.
Okay.
So then Sip referred me to him, and so we got in, and he was like, "Do your party here." So I started it there.
Like literally right when it first started, I guess, or no, sorry, right when the new guy, new manager,
right, the transition, yeah. Okay. So people knew about Underground SF because of all the parties Sip through already, like Cockfight and things like that. So there was still like an attachment to the gay world back then. So when I started throwing the party at Underground, is when it really started, you know. Yeah.
How long did you throw Hella Tight?
So before COVID, it was 9 years.
Wow.
Straight.
Okay, 9 years straight, and then maybe off and on for another 2.
Yeah.
It's like maybe 10 or 11 years.
Messy.
Like a decade, essentially.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
what was
like 14 years?
What was the first Hella Tight like?
The very first at Rebel or
no, at Underground SF.
honestly, I can't remember those early days at Underground.
Yeah.
It does like my brain doesn't switch until like when things start picking up.
Okay.
Like it's like I forgot those first couple years, but I have photos.
Yeah.
So I have proof that. So honestly, when it first started, it was my 10 closest friends. And trying to drum up people for the party at Rebel was very challenging. That was like a destination that will never work.
Right. It was just not in a good place of sitting.
It was doomed. No, it couldn't ever.
Because SF, we're very like for like even just like I used to live in a dog patch. The people that come over to Kiki like that's too far. Really, girl, it's dog patch. Like it's right
from Martuni.
Oh my God! Yeah.
Like, people know what that is.
But the gays will be like, no.
So it's like the Castro is the area, so if it's too far from the Castro, I'm not going.
And they won't try or blah blah blah. It takes like 45 people to make the people go. I've definitely been there. Okay.
So it wasn't until it started to catch on that this is a fun party where everybody was going to be, so it didn't matter that it was off the beaten path.
Right.
And it became a destination. It became something that we all looked forward to doing together.
How long did it take for that to pick up?
I would say probably 2 years.
Okay.
I would say the peak years were 15, 16, 17.
Okay, so I mean, like, what was it like, kind of going at it for 2 years? It's not that it wasn't a success, but it was, it was probably it's like build, probably have a great party, and then a couple small ones, and then another great one. What was that like in terms of like just keeping it going? Does that make sense?
Well, at that time, I had met so many groups of people in nightlife that I was able to pull from all those people that wanted to come and hang out together. So they all knew each other, and then they all knew me, and so I would just keep inviting them, make sure they came, and it was just a place that kept extending the invitation outward.
Cool. So I heard that you make all your own clothes.
I do.
So how did that happen? I mean, I think I know you told me that you started sewing in school. What made you decide just to make your clothes versus get them?
So it was a part of the whole creation. Like Lindsay was my canvas, like for a painter. I wanted to completely create her from scratch. And so the first year I wore Forever 21 because that was like the brand.
Yeah.
That was like the idea.
I still have a Forever 21 shirt.
Like who doesn't?
Right.
So going off that idea of that girl, that type of girl, that pop girly that goes to Coachella or whatever, if even Coachella was happening back then. I wanted to start making original pieces that looked like that style, but were original, that you couldn't buy, that you knew were camp.
Right.
So they were a little extra. The fabrics were different. They had Ren and Stimpy on them and things like that.
Throwbacks too, as well.
Yeah. So the whole concept was bringing it back to the 90s.
That's cool. And so, like, then it just became a thing that you made all your own outfits. Do you have them all still? I mean,
I
not all
do.
of them, but you do have all.
Yeah,
Wow.
so they're all archived.
That's really cool.
And I just kept challenging myself because after a while I'd get bored with this one design. In the beginning, it was all stretch fabrics because it was just easy to like give. Like if I sewed it too small or too big, it's like, it'll fit.
Right.
So that was the learning curve of knowing the body shape and everything. So I started patterning after that for cotton materials so it would be fit.
Right.
And I just decided to keep challenging myself into sewing more complicated things. And then I got to a place where I want to make something that could look like it'd be sold in a store.
Right.
And so I got there just teaching myself on the fly, on the go. Like, how do I do that? How am I going to make that? How's that zipper going to do that?
What's your favorite thing to make now? Or the favorite thing that you've made?
Well, I just made a new outfit to challenge myself with my favorite thing I ever made.
Okay.
And try to make something similar, but new.
Okay.
And it was a 3-piece.
Okay.
So I was all about 2 pieces. And then I was like, what if we try to do a 3-piece? So there's a jacket involved.
Okay.
And so making a jacket was like,
Come on, fall.
I was like, what? Like, how am I going to make a jacket? And how is this jacket going to work in a party of 500 cram people when everyone's dripping sweat and the walls are also dripping sweat?
And you want to be in that look all night.
And I'm dripping sweat. So it was just the accomplishment. I wanted to do that. So that piece was probably the most elaborate.
And have you worn it? You said it's for a party coming up?
No, so I made a new piece for the last party.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it was my first 3-piece
Oh,
in a long time. It was for my Kim Petras tribute.
Right. Very cool.
Inspired by one of her promo outfits with the orange hoodie and the neon stripe stuff.
Okay.
So yeah, I made an outfit, another 3-piece, and I always wanted it to be finished. And me being a Virgo and like crazy about little things like that, it's like I want it to be lined. I want it to be finished.
Yeah, I mean, you want it to be like you said, like shelf ready, right?
Exactly.
So that's got to be lined. It's got to be finished.
So when I put it in the closet, I can bring it back out and be like,
Someone sees like, oh my God, did you get that from? Oh, you made that. Oh, okay. I thought that was the row.
In 10 years, when I do a runway show, these models will be putting them on and be like,
oh, all right, yeah, bitch. Oh, okay, well, I'm glad this is in my size. Do you rent them? Well, this is great. I think it's time for us to end our first half, everyone. I've really enjoyed having you. We're going to record our second half after this. So, you know, I'm Roman. This is Lindsay Slowhands.
Hey, bitches.
When in Rome.
Hey, bitches. Bye, bitches.
It's Sassy San Francisco. Ciao, ciao.